Hello everyone, Riley here, and the Academy Awards just happened, and were the lowest viewed in the history of the Oscars. That's not good. So, a lot of people have been talking online about how it could have happened and how we can help fix it moving forward. So I thought I'd weigh in on those two, and I'd give my thoughts on some of the ideas that a lot of people have been bringing up that I just completely disagree with. So, as to why it actually happened, I feel like there are two main reasons for it. One, the Academy has been getting a lot of negative press these last 2 years. So last year, there was that whole snafu with La La Land accidentally winning Best Picture, and then they had to give it to Moonlight. That went everywhere, and it blew up online, and people were talking crap about the Academy for so long after that. And the year before was the Oscar So White campaign, which I'm still not completely convinced was justified. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against the whole sentiment of it, but I don't think the issue was with the Academy not being willing to acknowledge the African American and other minorities. I feel like it was an issue with they weren't being given good enough roles to justify a nomination. So I feel like the sentiment was slightly misplaced on the Academy versus the studios themselves. But anyways, it got a lot of traction and there was a lot of controversy about that. So if the Academy has been getting a lot of negative press these last 2 years, it eventually will come up to them. Kind of how DC has been seeing with Justice League kind of not doing very well at the box office. I feel like it was kind of expected that this year's Oscars were not going to have as much hype as the last two because there was so much negative press surrounding the Academy. Also, most of the major categories were pretty locks. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of surprises, and there weren't really any real storylines for the Oscars. Last year, there were so many storylines that went on. Can Casey Affleck come back from the sexual harassment allegations, or will Denzel swoop in and take it from him? Is La La Land or Moonlight going to win? And can La La Land beat the all-time record? Those were major storylines that people wanted to check in and see. And 2 years ago, there was the whole story of can Leo finally win his first Oscar, or is Fassbender gonna get it? And there was the whole debate over Best Picture. Is it gonna be The Revenant or is it gonna be Spotlight? So there were storylines these past couple of years. And I feel like this year there wasn't enough stakes. I feel like just people assumed that it was going to certain places. I feel like The Shape of Water may have had a little bit of a story with can it come back from the whole allegations of it being a stolen story, but I don't feel like that was really enough to really give it much momentum. Now, let's move on as to how to actually fix it. A lot of people have been saying they need more blockbusters. No! Absolutely not! What? No. That is not going to actually help. First of all, Dunkirk made over $500 million. In what way is a $500 million film not a blockbuster? In the past 5 years, only two films have made significantly more money than Dunkirk has: The Martian and Gravity. And even though it made slightly less than The Revenant and American Sniper, they're around the same. So I don't feel like you can qualify there as no big blockbusters this year. And even with that said, Get Out still almost made $300 million. That's a movie that a lot of people saw. A lot of people are saying that it was all indie art house movies this year. No, if you look at it, no, it wasn't. And I agree with the sentiment that the Academy needs to acknowledge the best in movies no matter what. But a lot of people are complaining that there are no blockbusters on there, and I don't agree. And I personally believe that if there are two films of equal quality, the blockbuster has no right to be on that list. Because blockbusters get talked about ad nauseum. They get recognition in other ways. They get recognized at the box office, in the public discussion, and just in the consciousness of the people. The only time that a movie like Three Billboards actually gets recognition is through the Oscars. And if something like that was kicked off to put like Logan on there, I would feel wrong about that. And I personally believe that the Academy should veer towards the smaller films because they don't get recognized in any other way, and this is the only chance that they get. And no, I'm not saying that the Academy should discriminate against blockbusters, not at all. If I had it my way, X-Men Days of Future Past would have gotten a Best Picture nomination in the 2015 ceremonies. And last year, I felt like The Jungle Book, Zootopia, and Deadpool were way better films than a lot of the nominees. So I'm not saying that they should not ever nominate blockbusters. I just feel like if there are two films of equal quality, they should give it to the smaller film because it's not going to get the recognition otherwise. But something we can all agree on is that the Oscars need to be shorter. They just need to. I mean, this one was almost 4 hours long. In that same amount of time, you could have watched all of my videos. Please subscribe. Are you serious? Like, I don't think they can assume that a lot of the audience will sit and watch for 4 hours? No. It basically ended at midnight. I have a few ways that I think that we can combat this. First of all, the best song nominees, get rid of the performances, and just do kind of like Billy Crystal did, do an opening montage of all of them, have the host sing a little bit of all of them, and then just move on. Have that be your cold opening, and then move on. Don't waste basically like 25, 30 minutes of screen time to best song, because it's not even that important. Next, get rid of the best animated feature and the best animated short categories. Animation and live action are not two different medium. They should be treated as the same, and since animated films are eligible for Best Picture, if they are, and they have been in the past, it gets rid of all of the stakes for Best Animated Film. Just getting rid of the animated categories and making Best Live Action Short just Best Short Film would just make it go quicker, as that's two less categories that you need to have. Also, those 10-minute gags that they've been doing around 70% of the way through, you can get rid of all of them. They have not been good. The Chinese theater one, that one was pretty corny. The one where they had the tour group go in, and a bunch of others, they're just not adding much to it, and they're just wasting like 10-15 minutes of time that we could have been spending on the awards themselves. Another thing with length is that it's perceived length, and when things are drawn out, it makes it feel a lot longer than it actually is. If the show was tightened up and everything was moving at a quicker pace, but it was 3.5 hours long, I don't think people would be complaining as much as if it feels like it drags and it's 4 hours long. So one of the things that I suggest is get rid of the envelopes. Have on the actual Oscars, the name of the winner engraved, and put like a sticker or something on the Oscars with the category name on it, so that the presenter just has to hold it up to the audience and then reveal the sticker, revealing the name, and you can have a close-up, and it can be more of a viewing experience for the viewers so that they don't actually just have to waste like 15 seconds each award just of dead time of them fumbling with the stupid envelopes. Also, with the presenters, I think they need to take a page out of the nomination ceremonies book and have only a few presenters. If you had like 3 sets of presenters that did like 5 or 6 awards each, it would go by so much quicker, because most of the presenters' jokes and bits are not funny. A few of them are, and I think they should be highlighted, but if those people were given more time, I feel like it would be just a generally more enjoyable show. The nomination ceremony is like 10 to 30 minutes long, and it has a brisk pace to it, and you feel like it's mostly about the movies, and yes, there are jokes here and there, but it's all in subservience to the actual awards, whereas the Oscars feel like it's a show, first of all, and then the awards are kind of secondary. However, with this being said, another common thing that I'm hearing as to how to shorten them is to move the short categories or the documentary categories onto the other day where they do like the honorary Oscars. And I completely disagree with this. While yes, it would shorten up the runtime, I feel like short films and documentaries get no recognition on their own. And I'm part of that issue. I have not seen not nearly enough of them as I should. And a lot of people just don't see them. And the Oscars is one of the only ways that people can actually find great quality documentaries and short films. And if they aren't in the actual main ceremony, I feel like you would be missing out on a large population of people who might actually check out, say, an Icarus or The Silent Child. I personally feel like you should have those in the main show to promote their awareness, and also the filmmakers. They deserve to have their time to shine because they made great quality work. And I feel like if you're pushing them into the other ceremony, then it would just be saying, "Oh, these awards don't matter. They're not Oscars enough to be in the real show." And I feel like that is damaging to the actual art forms of documentary filmmaking and short filmmaking. So those were my quick thoughts. Please try not to kill me too much about my whole opinion on blockbusters in the comments down below, but do feel free to comment about anything you want. What did you guys think about it? And if you like this video, drop me a like down below and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.